Stop. One breath. Before you answer the next message, ask yourself this. Do you still believe the strongest wins by pushing hardest? Do you still think volume equals victory? That louder, faster, angrier is power? Here's the dangerous truth you were trained not to see. Real power doesn't shove, it tilts. It turns the floor under people's feet until they walk where you wanted them to go. Winning without fighting isn't magic, it's geometry. You don't break the wall, you move the hinge. If that sounds ruthless, remember, this is for protection, not destruction. Use it to defend your time, your standards, your future, not to hurt innocent people. Comment to lock it in. I win without fighting. Most people still play head-to-head. They go point for point, proof for proof, decibel for decibel, then wonder why they're exhausted and still losing. They never learned to switch games. Asymmetric power means you don't meet force with force. You meet it with frame. You don't out-argue the room, you design where the room can stand. You're not choosing gentleness or aggression, you're choosing sequence. Fox first to spot the trap. Lion last to end the question. Start with the smallest battlefield, conversation. The head-to-head player hears a challenge and rushes to answer. That sentence isn't a question, it's a lever. Emotional attacks hate daylight. When the other person is forced to define a goal, they either reveal it so you can solve it, or expose that there isn't one so you can end it. That's a win without fighting. You didn't defeat the claim, you dissolved it. Next, perception. You've tried to persuade with correct facts while broadcasting weak signals. Needy cadence, cluttered words, rapid nods, apologetic eyes. Stop. Your first asymmetric move is pre-verbal. Slow your inhale. Unclench your jaw. Pace your gaze. Plant your feet evenly and be still for 3 full seconds before you talk. You just told the room, without saying a word, that you are not here to wrestle, you are here to resolve. Now, terms. When someone says, "Cut the price or we walk," the head-to-head player haggles and bleeds. The asymmetric player reframes. "Happy to help. We can keep the price and reduce scope, or keep scope and extend timeline." You didn't resist or submit. You partitioned. Partitioning wins because it makes the other side choose constraints, not your compliance. Silence is your next edge. In weak hands, silence is a void. In strong hands, silence is gravity. Don't sprint. Breathe and count to 5. The pause exposes assumptions. The question exposes the invisible yardstick. Suddenly, the debate isn't your worth, it's their math. And if they have no math, they have no case. Without raising your voice, you just saved your price and your posture. Deterrence beats defense. A lot of fighting is really cleaning up what you trained people to expect. You promised endless flexibility, so they demand midnight calls. You replied in seconds, so they assume free access. Asymmetry is making the cost of disrespect visible before anything goes wrong. You put your clock in your proposals, your response windows in your onboarding, your decision cadence in your kickoff. It isn't cold, it's clear. People can live with no. They suffer with maybe. The more predictable your edges, the fewer battles you ever see. Here's a script you can deploy tomorrow morning to win 3 interactions without a single argument. Old you says yes and drowns. Asymmetric you replies, "Send 3 bullets. Goal, decision maker, deadline." If they can't define it, you never had a real request. If they can, your review happens on your clock. Either way, you won. Old you panics. Asymmetric you diffuses. I commit decisions after documented review. You didn't say no, you priced the rush. If they keep pushing, they reveal that urgency is theater. If the urgency is real, they accept your trade-off. Either way, you don't fight, you filter. Old you discounts. Asymmetric you corrals the conversation. Two paths: pilot at full quality, small scope, full price, or full scope at tiered phases, same price per phase. You bartered risk instead of worth. You made them talk about outcomes instead of your identity. That's how adults buy. That's how professionals sell. No fight, all structure. Notice the pattern. Every move prearranges the ending. You don't throw your weight around, you tilt the floor. Rooms start making your choice because your choice is the only coherent one. This is what separates strategists from strugglers. Strategists write the rules of engagement. Strugglers argue inside rules they didn't write. But what about disrespect? Do you just ignore it? No, you price it. You install the non-reaction protocol. The fourth is the lion, parting cleanly. You never shout because shouting is how you announce you've already lost the frame. You keep your voice slow and your policies faster. The fox spotted the pattern. The lion made the last move. Your aura is half the game. Head-to-head players try to be impressive. Asymmetric players try to be inevitable. Impressive begs for applause. Inevitable receives consent. People calibrate to the least rushed person in the room. Be that person. Not aloof, anchored. No, cold is indifference. This is integrity. You are telling the world, I won't fight you to prove my value. That's not arrogance, that's adulthood. And ironically, it makes you kinder. When you stop wrestling, you start clarifying. Clarity is kindness with a backbone. I'm available at 2 precise times. If you only memorize those 3, you'll stop 50 fights before they start. Here's the final switch you have to flip to make all of this natural. You will stop needing to be understood right now. The need to explain everything is what makes you wrestle. Trade immediacy for inevitability. Make the room understand you through experience, through consistent clocks, clean defaults, and decisions that match your standards every time. After a month, they'll describe your rules for you. That's the quiet victory of asymmetric power. People start enforcing your boundaries on your behalf. 2 pulse checks for your gut as you practice. First, am I moving like the fox first? Reading traps, asking calm questions, clarifying goals, before I move like the lion? If not, you're charging into nets. Second, do I want to win or be seen winning? Wanting to be seen winning is how you lose. Silent wins compound. Loud wins provoke new fights. Choose the stack that pays you later. If this opened your eyes, like and subscribe once right now, ring the bell, and drop your anchor in the comments. I win without fighting. In part 2, I'll hand you the specific ambushes, deadline feints, scarcity mirrors, and access gates that make aggressive people calm down and smart people lean in. You won't need more energy, you'll need fewer wasted moves. Stop. One breath. Before you jump into your next argument, ask yourself this: do you still think power is a louder voice or a tilted floor? Do you still believe you have to stand your ground to win, when the smarter move is to change where the ground even is? Here's the dangerous truth you were trained not to see. Fights are for amateurs. Architects don't fight the crowd, they design the exits. Today, you're going to learn 3 asymmetric ambushes that make pressure dissolve without raising your volume. Deadline feints, scarcity mirrors, and access gates. Comment to lock it in. I tilt the board, not my voice. Let's get something clear. Asymmetric power isn't about tricking people. It's about putting reality where everyone can see it. Most resistance is an illusion built from foggy timelines, imaginary abundance, and free access. Remove the fog, and the fight dies by itself. Asymmetric ambush number 1, the deadline feint. This isn't a bluff, it's a clock that reveals truth. When someone floods you with urgency to make you sloppy, we need your yes in the next hour. You don't sprint. You move the urgency into a container that protects your quality and exposes their intent. Decisions finalize after documented review. Earliest slot, 2 p.m. Now watch what happens. If the urgency was theater, they fade. If it was real, they accept the trade-off because you priced the rush instead of absorbing it. Why this wins without fighting? You didn't debate value. You turned time into cost. People don't argue with clocks, they schedule around them. This is the grown-up version of power. You don't punish need, you price it. You're not deceiving, you're refusing to be dragged by someone else's drum. Your clock exposes whether the drum was real or performative. Field drill you can run today. An ASAP message lands at 10:31. You reply at 10:33. Received. I rendered decisions at 2 and 4:30. If 2 p.m., we drop the long validation and ship the pilot. 2 time slots, 1 consequence. No fight, just ground. Asymmetric ambush number 2. The Scarcity Mirror. You've been acting like you're abundant and the other side is scarce. Flip it. Mirror their scarcity back to them. You don't defend your worth. You're not arguing about you anymore. You're illuminating their limits. Scarcity is always somewhere. By mirroring it, you force adults to make adult choices. In hiring, the mirror sounds like, we move 3 candidates to panel Monday, offers Wednesday 5 p.m. In sales it's, this scope at this price holds till Friday. In dating it's, Thursday 7-9 or Sunday 6-8 works. You didn't chase. You stated your windows like facts. The person who wants you will step into them. The person who doesn't will ask you to orbit forever. You don't orbit. Don't hear cruelty, hear predictability. Fear in this context is not terror. It's certainty that you will keep your edges. People fear wasting the chance you make visible. When your time and access have real thresholds, respect rises and noise falls. You didn't scare anyone, you made drift expensive. Asymmetric ambush number 3. The access gate. You don't argue with disrespect, you make it inconvenient. Most fights are just you trying to explain boundaries to someone profiting from your lack of them. Stop explaining. Install a gate. Requests route through this form with 3 bullets: goal, decision owner, deadline. Review blocks are 2/3. Cold? No. Clean. The minute you move from personal to process, the tone changes. People calibrate to systems faster than sermons. Access gates also filter power players from energy vampires. The powerful respect gates because they run their own. Vampires hate gates because gates make exploitation costly. That's the bend. That's the win. You didn't fight anyone. You made the shortest path the right path. Stack all 3, feint, mirror, gate, and watch how former battles vanish into compliance. Not because you dominated, but because you designed. You're turning a fistfight into an architecture problem. You're not trying to look strong, you're making it easy to do the strong thing. Now, let's put these ambushes into messy reality. The procurement squeeze. Your old move, discount, defend, resent. Your new move, feint plus mirror. Tomorrow too works. At 20% reduction, we keep quality by removing the custom integration and pushing analytics to phase 2. You didn't say you're worth it. You made the trade obvious. If they ghost, it wasn't a fit. If they choose, you won without a fight. Either way, your spine stayed intact. The team drift. Your old move, pep talk, overtime, quiet anger. New move, gate plus mirror. We're moving to 48-hour stones with public check-ins. 2 misses this month, narrow scope. 3 reassigns the task. You didn't shame, you architected. Fight avoided. Standards upgraded. The relationship loop. Someone whips you into late-night arguments, then disappears at noon. Your old move, chase. New move, feint plus gate. Not doing this over text. Tomorrow, 6 p.m., 20 minutes in person. If we can keep it solution-focused, we continue. You didn't control them, you controlled context. Fights die in clean daylight. You're going to feel a pull to defend yourself mid-move. Don't. Explanation is how you bleed leverage. Moves the debate from your identity to physics. Each is a hinge. Hinges move doors with 2 fingers. Use them. Ethics check, because asymmetric power without ethics rots from the inside. These ambushes are tools to prevent waste and protect dignity. Never fake the clock. If you set a deadline, keep it, even when it costs you. Never hide information that would materially hurt the other side. The fox spots traps. The lion enforces standards. You stay clean. Winning without fighting isn't about making others small. It's about making the path to good outcomes so simple that bad behavior runs out of oxygen. Repeat it everywhere for a week. Day 2. Add 1 access gate. A short request form. Goal, decision owner, deadline. Day 3. Run your first deadline feint. Price a rush with a trade-off. Hold the line. Notice how panic drops. Day 4. Practice 3-count silence after any attack or price push. Day 5. Mirror scarcity once. Offer 2 paths where they must choose the constraint. Day 6. Convert 1 argument into architecture. Replace a speech with a cadence. Stones, panels, sprints. Day 7. Audit. Where did fog disappear when you added clocks, gates, or mirrors? Keep those patterns. Prune the rest. You'll get backlash. Translation: your clarity raised the price of their chaos. Smile once. Then deliver something precise, on time. Consistency is how rooms learn your rhythm and start protecting it for you. Before we close, carry 2 lines that keep your compass true. Your pre-verbal signal, stillness, cadence, windows, decides half the game before facts arrive. Make the eye see structure. In practice, this means let people fear missing your window more than they crave diluting your standards. When missing your window has a real cost, you won't have to fight. They'll move. Comment to seal this part. I set clocks, I draw gates, I mirror reality. In Part 3, I'll show you how to weaponize reputation, how to plant quiet echoes in the network so rooms bend before you enter and calm after you leave. No force, just geometry. Stop. 1 breath. Before you move another inch, ask yourself this. Do you still try to win by proving more, pushing harder, speaking longer? Do you still treat power like a tug of war when the smartest players never pick up the rope? Here's the dangerous truth you weren't taught. The cleanest victory is engineered, not argued. You bend incentives, not people. You design defaults that make your outcome the only outcome that makes sense. That's how you win without fighting. Use this to protect your time, your standards, your peace, not to hurt the innocent. Comment to lock it in. I win by design, not by debate. Let's make something clear. You can out-talk a room and still lose the week. You can outwork a rival and still lose the frame. Asymmetric power is the opposite of spectacle. You don't stand taller, you change the floor. The right geometry will make loud people quiet and clever people cooperative. Read that again. Your final silent weapon isn't a perfect argument. It's the ecosystem you assemble so rooms move in your direction before you arrive. Start with your coalition math. Most fights are single lane, you versus them. Shift it to network lane, you plus 3 quiet allies whose incentives already prefer your solution. The head-to-head player pushes. The asymmetric player preloads. Before the meeting, you seed 2 facts with 2 people who influence the decider. You don't tell them what to say, you give them a reason to want what you want. By the time you speak in the room, you're repeating a conclusion everyone has already heard twice from mouths they trust. No brawl, just gravity. Now reputation, your portable battlefield. You don't need to win inside every conversation if the hallways are already telling your story for you. The strategic move is consistency. Keep one tempo, one standard, one refusal to rush until people can predict you with 2 words. Your predictability reprograms the building. Folks stop pitching chaos because they know your edges won't bend. That is how you neutralize 10 future fights you'll never see. Let's make it practical. 5 asymmetric moves you can deploy today that turn confrontation into compliance without force. 1. Pre-commit your criteria. Put that in writing. Why it wins. Critics stop arguing your character and start arguing against a checklist. Checklists don't take insults personally. Either it meets the bar or it doesn't. 2. Change the choice architecture. If they say, "We need you full-time on this," don't say yes, no. You didn't fight. You redesigned the maze. That rule is oxygen for clear thinkers and suffocating for chaos agents. You don't win by overpowering them, you win by denying the arena they feed on. 4. Leverage irreversibility. Most brawls grow from fear of finality, so you reduce finality without losing authority. Half the yelling is gone because risk has a cushion. You didn't dilute standards, you shrank the stakes per step. 5. Make exit easy for the wrong fits. A simple sentence, "If this cadence isn't right for you, I'd rather refund than resent," will scare manipulators and calm adults. Why? Because your willingness to walk proves you're not negotiating from need. They stop testing your edges when they feel your spine. You'll notice a pattern. These moves avoid force and make the strong path the simple path. That's how you win without fighting, by making resistance inconvenient and alignment efficient. What about the aggressor who lives for escalation? You don't get pulled into their theater. You change the set. When they lob a public challenge, you pivot to private structure. I don't do drive-by decisions. Email me 3 bullets: goal, constraint, deadline. If they refuse the process, they expose themselves as unserious. Everybody saw that without you raising your voice. If they comply, they just stepped into your clock. Either way, you didn't fight, you filtered. 2 more levers that bend rooms without force: sequence and scarcity. Sequence decides momentum, scarcity decides value. Sequence: fox first, lion last. You begin with information, quiet discovery that reveals where they actually hurt. You end with finality: 1 clear decision window, 1 written summary, 0 relitigating. It's kind. Clarity prevents weeks of hidden bitterness. Scarcity: you don't make yourself rare to appear special. You make yourself rare to preserve quality. If access to you is structured, office hours, 2 response windows, a capped number of active projects, then every yes you give lands heavier, carries gratitude, and attracts adults. Immature players hate scarcity because it makes manipulation expensive. War? You avoid it, not because you're afraid, but because you understand math. Starting a fight is easy. Ending it on your terms is rare. The cleanest strategy is the one that never lights a fuse. You do that by building levees in clear weather, options, buffers, allies, policies. When the flood comes, you're already dry. Not what they said, what the incentives say. Design. Write a choice set where every option protects your standards. Add rollback plans to neutralize fear. Declare. Publish the process. Review windows, decision times, exit rule. That's your aura. Visible, boring, powerful. Delay. If someone tries to yank the timeline, price the rush. If they push feelings, move to writing. Decide. Close cleanly. Yes with terms or no with gratitude. No half-open doors. Run that loop 3 times and watch the stress in your body drop. You'll stop replaying arguments because you won't be in arguments. You'll be in systems. Now the inner game, because none of this works if you still crave the dopamine of visible winning. The urge to crush publicly is how you lose privately. Time, trust, focus. Train yourself to prefer silent victories. The meeting that ends early because your default was too sensible to fight. The stakeholder who repeats your rule to a newbie before you log on. The offer that arrives pre-aligned with your process because your reputation traveled faster than you did. That's asymmetric power in the wild. Here's. Rollback plans and the success metric. Explanation begs, structure leads. You will get pushback. Smile, stay slow, deliver something precise on time. Consistency converts more resistance than charisma. Ethical compass, so you don't slide into gamesmanship. Never hide a material risk. Never set traps. Never fake scarcity. You're not outfoxing people, you're outfogging the problem. The rule is simple. Your structure should make good behavior easy and bad behavior obvious. If your process harms the other side when they act in good faith, your process is wrong. Here's your 7-day capstone plan to wire win without fighting into your nervous system. Day 1. Publish one public clock, exact decision windows, and one access gate, request format. Day 2. Convert one argument into choice architecture. 2 doors, both protect quality. Day 3. Preload a coalition before a mating. Seed one fact with 2 influencers. Day 4. Install a quiet veto rule. If the talk loops, you pause and move to writing. Use it once. Day 5. Add reversibility. Pilot rollback on the riskiest proposal. Watch fear drop. Day 7. Audit where you didn't fight and still won. Lock those patterns as defaults. If this landed, anchor it in the comments. I win by design. Then do one thing today that your future authority will thank you for. Set a gate, publish a clock, or write a 2-door choice. You'll feel the room tilt, quietly, finally, in your favor.